Mr. Eus was now a somebody. Everybody in town was afraid of Mr. Eus. He kind of liked it. He kind of liked it when he walked down the street, the people would cower away from him. He kind of liked it when they showed him respect. You see, it wasn't always this way, because there was a time when when he was a younger boy. You see, Zach and his parents grew up on the other side of the tracks. Oh, they said people who lived on the other side of the camel track, man, they were like the poorest of the poorest. They wore ragged clothes and they didn't have the money to spend on niceties. And the kids at school bullied Zach around. And the reason why they bullied him around was because he was shorter than the rest of the kids. They go up to play ball and they yell, "Hey, Zach, why don't you play shortstop?" And they all laughed at him and they made fun of him. They would push him around. And then they started calling him Wacky Zacky. Oh, when he heard that, he got so angry. And he'd go, "I hate that name." And he would come with his fist. And the big kids, they would just stick their hand out, catch him right in the forehead. "I hate that name." And they go, "Wacky Zacky, oh, I hate that name." And they made fun of him. And Zach thought, you know what? Someday I am going to get even. No longer are they going to be calling me Wacky Zacky. They'll be showing me respect. But while the time was going on in school, they would go, "Hey, Zach, Wacky Zacky, do you want to hear a short story?" They laugh. Ooh, Zach, so angry. Well, Zach got a little bit older. He hated the poor clothing. He hated saying that he lived on the other side of the camel tracks. He had to get a job. So he went start looking for a job and he knocked on one door. Some of the kids who growing up there from school, and they go, "Whoa, it's little Zacky. It's little Eus. What do you want?" Because I was hoping you'd give me a job. "We don't have a job for a midget. We don't have a job for a short person. We don't have a job for Wacky Zacky." He thought, nobody's going to call me that again. I got to get a job. So he thought, let's see, everybody hates me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go talk to the Romans. Everybody hates the Romans. Hey, if I become a tax collector, then they'll have to pay me respect because I represent the imperial Roman government. So Zach became a tax collector. And he had his briefcase with him. All of the important papers in his briefcase, and he'd come and knock on the door. Pum, 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 pum. They open the door and go, "Well, look at it's little Zach. What can we do for you? Oh, are you looking for another job?" He goes, "My name is Mr. Eus, and I now work for the Roman government. I am their official tax collector here in the city." And he opens up his briefcase and he says, "We just need to see how much taxes you owe." And he pulled out some paper and he goes, "Oh, you owe me $25. The guy goes, what? $25? Come on, Zach. Come on. Last year it was only $3. Zach says, well, according to my paperwork, you owe me $25. And they say, forget it, Zach. We're not paying you. You're a traitor. You sold yourself to the Roman government. You're a Jew, now you're working for the government. Get out of here. After a couple of days of being kicked out, Zach was thinking, this isn't working. They still think of me as the poor guy on the other side of the camel tracks. Gotta do something. Well, he saw this big kid walking down the road. Frankie, he wasn't very smart, but he had a big fist. He was real strong. Zach had this idea. He goes, hey, Frankie. Hey, Frankie, come over here. Yeah, Zach, what would you want? Hey, how would you like to make $25? Is $25 more than $10? Zach says it's like twice the amount. And Frankie goes, I've never made that much money. What do you want me to do? How can I make it? And Zach says, make a big fist. Frankie goes, like this? Yeah, that's good. And make some like big muscles. Like and make a real mean face. Like this? That's it. Now, Frankie, all you have to do is wait around the corner, and when I call for you, you come out with your big fist, and if they give me any trouble, you grab them. Okay, Frankie. Or okay, Zach, I'll do that for you. So, Zacchaeus walks up to the next house and knocks on the door, and they open up the door. And they go, oh, it's little Wacky Zacky. He goes, I am now Mr. Eus to you. I am the official tax collector from the Roman government, and let's see how much taxes you owe. Opens up his briefcase. He goes, oh, you owe me $35. Guy says, $35? I'll never pay you, traitor. And Zach goes, Frankie, can you come here, please? Frankie comes along. Yeah, Zach, what would you want? Can you show this man your fist? He goes, like this? And, can you grab him by the shirt collar? He goes, like this? And can you shake our friend up because he doesn't want to pay the $35? And Frankie grabs the guy and begins to shake him. You gotta pay Zach. You gotta pay Mr. Eus. The guy says, okay, don't hurt me. And he gives him the $35 and goes back inside. Zach thought, that worked pretty good. So they go on to the next door. Knocks on the door. Yes, who is it? It's me, Mr. Zacchaeus. And he goes, oh, Zach, little Zacky, go home. I'm not leaving, said Zach. I'm not leaving. I am now the official tax collector for the Roman government. Now stand out here. You owe me money. The guy opens up the door. What? What did you say? You are really wacky. You are now collecting taxes for the Roman government? We hate the Roman government. He goes, well, according to my papers here, you owe taxes for $50. $50! Frankie, come here, please. Yeah, Zach. Our friend here, He doesn't want to pay his taxes. Can you maybe show him what he needs to do? Oh, Frankie said, yeah, I think I know what you mean. He goes over and he grabs the guy by the collar, by the shirt, and he says, pay up, Mr. Eas, or else I'll punch you. Okay. Well, before long, Zach was like making hundreds of dollars. But he kept his word. He paid Frankie the $25, and Frankie was so excited. He goes, I've never made this much money in all my life, and it's so easy. All I have to do is look big. Mr. Eas said, Frankie, you and I are going to be partners. Every day that you come to work, I'll pay you $25. Like at the end of the week, I'll pay you like $150 just for helping me. Okay, Mr. Eas. You can call me Zach. Okay, Zach, I'll come work for you. This is kind of fun. People used to make fun of me because of my size, but they don't make fun of me anymore. Hey, Zach, you and I are buddies. You're right. We're partners. And Mr. Eas became very, very rich. And Mr. Eas, you see, when he said that the people owed him taxes, maybe they only owed like $4 or $5, but he charged them like $25 and $50, and now he was quite rich. In fact, he was wealthy. He bought himself a new jacket, bought a new hat, and he always paid Frankie the $25. Pretty soon, he was able to afford a new house, not on the far side of the camel track, but in the nicer section. And he had people come around him, other tax collectors. And they were kind of envious of Mr. Eas because he was doing so well. Even though he was short, he's still doing very well. Well, one day, Mr. Eas was out collecting his taxes, and he heard this rumbling, he heard this commotion down the road, and he says, excuse me, who is it? Somebody says, oh, Zach, get out of here. You don't belong here. You sold yourself out to the Roman government. You're a traitor. He goes, what's all the commotion? Someone says, it's just this man from Galilee, Jesus of Nazareth. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth? He's here in my city? Man, I've heard all kinds of great things about him. I gotta see him. Tries to jump up. Excuse me. I want to see. And they just push him aside. Get out of here, Zach. You don't belong here. You're a traitor. Because he was so short, he couldn't see over top of them. So he had this idea. I know. He put down his briefcase. He ran down the road ahead of all of the people. He ran down the road, and there was this big old sycamore tree that had the big branches that hung out over the road. He thought, I'll get up in the tree, and I'll get to see this Jesus. He's so famous. He climbs up in the tree, and he's hanging on to the tree, leaning on the branches, leaning out over the road. And the people come down the road. As the people come down the road, Zacchaeus is hanging on the tree. And this man from Galilee, Jesus, stopped right underneath the tree, and he says, hey, Zacchaeus, come on down. Come on out of the tree. I want to go to your house. Zacchaeus got, seriously? Jesus, the famous person from Galilee, is coming to my house? What do they say? He's the Son of God? He's the Messiah. He's our salvation. Oh, and Zacchaeus climbed out of the tree. He came up and he says, Jesus, what did you say? Jesus said, Zacchaeus, I want to go to your house. I'd like to have something to eat. Sure, come along. Zacchaeus is walking down the road. He has his arm up around Jesus' shoulder because Jesus was a little bit taller to him. And he goes, hey, everybody. Look who I'm walking with. I'm walking with Jesus. But he felt bad. He'd heard that Jesus was called the Lamb of God. He heard that Jesus had done nothing wrong. He didn't lie, he didn't steal, he didn't cheat. But as he walked with Jesus, Zach was feeling guilty. He's feeling horrible inside. He had stolen from the people. He had held a grudge, and he was filled with hatred because back in school they called him Wacky Zacky, and when he got so mad they would just hit him in the forehead and he'd try and punch them and he couldn't do it. For all of his life now, this bitterness and this anger had boiled up inside him. Oh yeah, he had nice clothes, but he felt bad. He was feeling guilty. He was feeling unclean because now he was beside Jesus. He takes him into his house and makes sure that he washed Jesus' feet, and he set him down at the table. In fact, he sat up at the top of the main place where you sit important guests. He sat Jesus there. The other people were whispering, did you see where Jesus went? He went to Zacchaeus' house. He went to that horrible tax collector's house. As they were eating, Zach remembered all the money that he had stolen. Yeah, he used Frankie with his big fist and big strong muscles to make sure the people paid, but he charged them a whole lot more than what their taxes were. He was feeling guilty. And he thought, I gotta change. Here, Jesus is in my house. He didn't call me Wacky Zacky. He didn't look down upon me because I was short. He accepted me as a friend, and even when I put my hand around his shoulder, he didn't push it away. He looked at me like we were friends. And he came to my house, and I honored him, and I put him in the place where we honor guests. What did he say? He'd much rather sit at the bottom of the table. He'd much rather sit at the foot of the table instead of being as the honored guest. But I honored him. Oh, I feel bad. I feel bad. As the party was starting to quiet down and the meal was just about finished, Zach came up and he goes, Jesus, I don't know what it is, but when I'm around you, when I've been in your presence, I feel guilty and I want to change. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be filled with anger anymore. Jesus, because I met you, because you came to my house, in fact, I think I want to follow you. I want to be your follower. I mean, they call me the worst tax collector ever, but you accepted me. Jesus looked at Zach and said, Zach, I do accept you. He says, even before you were born, I knew what you would be like. I know down deep inside how you've been hurt by the names that they called you and how that you were bullied around. I knew that. My Father in heaven knew that. And yet, my Father didn't say, stay away from Zach. Zacchaeus, he wiped the tears from his eyes and he says, oh, Jesus, when I meet you, I'm different. When I've met you, I've been changed. I've been changed on the inside. And then he had this idea. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do, Jesus. If I've taken anything from anybody unlawfully, I'm going to pay them back 4 times the amount. So, like if I was only supposed to charge them 25 cents and I took $1, I'm going to pay them back now. 4 times of what I've taken from them. And then I'm going to give half of my money to the poor people, Jesus. And Jesus smiled at Zacchaeus and said, today, salvation is coming to your house. Zacchaeus was changed. He knew that God had forgiven him. He knew that God had accepted him. He was totally changed. He said goodbye to Frankie. He wasn't going to need Frankie anymore to pound on people with his big fist. Would he be an honest tax collector? Yeah, sure, he'd work for the government, but only charge what he was supposed to charge and his pay. That's what Jesus would want him to do. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. Because Jesus said, today, salvation has come into your house because of the outward change. When people see you when people see God on the inside, they should see it being shown on the outside. How about it? Could you say today, because of what you've done? Could you say today that because you chose to follow Jesus, could Jesus say to you, today salvation has entered into your house?